Welcome to another episode of Unscripted with Marilyn Morales. Today, joining me is my eldest son, Aiden Morales. Hi, Aiden.
Hello.
This is his very first podcast, being on one, co-hosting one. So this is a big step for Aiden. And I'm very proud of you that you've taken this step to help me today.
Thank you.
So the reason I asked Aiden to be a part of this is because my guest today is a very special person to both of us. I'm going to share a little bit of this person's bio, and then I'm going to share a little bit about my history with him. So my guest today is Giovanni Negron-Garcia, a blast from the past. He is the CEO owner of GioEffect Life Coaching and Public Speaking, LLC, and 23-year-old best-selling author. I think you had a birthday from there, didn't you, Gio? I think you're 24. Giovanni was born and raised in Reading, Pennsylvania, a city defined by crime, poverty, and corruption. Giovanni is caring, ambitious, and energetic. Throughout his journey, Giovanni encountered numerous battles with his mental and physical health. Giovanni reached a weight of 366 pounds, which set the course of his life, ending by the age of 35. Through discipline and soul searching, Giovanni reclaimed his health and lost over 200 pounds, and get this, in less than a year. That's amazing.
No,
That is absolutely amazing.
that's huge.
Giovanni claims that he had to redefine his passion and purpose to share his gifts with the world and proclaim the glory he almost lost. Mr. Negron-Garcia has become an inspiration around the nation as he displays his message of Go.Inspire.Others. Giovanni believes everyone has a gift to share with the world that will contribute to their legacy. Mr. Negron-Garcia helps underprivileged professionals achieve their goals and dreams based on their career aspirations. Let's welcome Giovanni Negron-Garcia to the show.
Hey
Hello.
everybody. It's been a while. It's been a long time.
Yeah. Gio, aren't you 24? Didn't we have a birthday there?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
you could tell how long I've been off. That bio was written last year. I am 24. But when I became a bestseller, I was 23.
You were 23 years old. Absolutely. So listen, I want to share with my viewers my history with you before we start and you start sharing your story. It was last January, so it was a year ago, that I was sitting in my home on a virtual business boot camp led by Emilio and Daniela Roman, right? And you were one of the guest speakers. And I heard you speak. And once I heard you, I took a break and I went over and I told my daughter, this guy that's on, you have got to listen to him. He is fantastic. Like, you moved not only the room, but those of us that were there virtually, right? Inspiration, I cannot tell you. I knew, and this is another thing, as you were speaking about yourself, and I saw how young you were, my son's age, right? Because Aiden is 22 years old right now. He was 21 at the time. So I'm thinking to myself, this young man can help my son. I know that he can. And I know that Aiden needed a little help at the time. And I knew that you were the guy to do that. So thank you so much, because yes, you started working with Aiden, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But thank you for being such an inspiration in my life and helping me move forward to what I wanted to do, which is write my own book. And everything that came after that was because I was inspired by you.
Wow, that is truly humbling. Thank you so much for your kind words, and it's just been a journey, honestly. Just with everything that has transpired in my life and what has come of it now. Just hearing that really touches my heart. I don't want to cry so early in the podcast, but that really touched my heart.
Yeah, it was amazing, because I don't think nobody has touched me like that on a virtual stage, right? To you, it says go inspire others. You truly inspired me, and I took a chance on myself and decided to move forward because of how you made me feel that day, and that was amazing. I don't think I've ever shared that with you. I never have.
No, this is the first time I've heard it, so thank you.
Amazing. So take me back to that stage. What were
I
you feeling that day? What was happening that day? Share that with me.
I mean, that day was I didn't know how I felt that day, honestly. There's just a lot of emotions, meeting a lot of great people. My very first time that I went to an event as an entrepreneur, because Emilio and Daniela planted that seed in me and said, Gio, why don't you have your own LLC? Why don't you have your own book? And I really never considered it at that time because, again, I was only 22 years, so we're backtracking now. I was only 22 years old. I was in grad school at the time, and I said, I don't really have time for that. But they made me realize that there's never a perfect time to start anything. Um,
Right.
so I think literally 2 weeks after I was on their show, um, I decided let me fulfill my dream, get an LLC, and then write my own book. And I know we're going to talk about that a little later, but that day I felt great. I felt like I truly needed to be on that stage, speaking to those who were in person, speaking to those who were virtual, and just knowing how my story moved them. A lot of them saw themselves, like they backtracked, it's like, wow, that was me a couple years ago, and a
Yeah.
lot of them saw themselves in me, and that really inspired me to just work with people and being able to elevate them to the next level and inspire them to overcome whatever barriers or whatever fear they have so they can pursue their own dreams.
Right. Right. Fantastic. And you accomplished so many things besides the LLC. You did your book. You became a best-selling author. Not just wrote your first book, but a best-selling author. And then on top of that, you continued, you got into, tell me more, what happened to you after that with
um
school and everything.
I mean, a lot of things happened after that
Yeah, it was like crazy, right? It was
that
that's
book
like one
came.
thing after the other.
I mean, we had my book launch. Happened a couple months after. We had myself going to a different job. I mean, I'm not there now, but I mean, I got to a new positions. I just saw myself elevating to a whole new level. I was headlining international stages virtually because it was still kind of pandemic, so it's hard to travel. But I got
Right.
to meet a lot of people. I was connecting with way more people, and just speaking at schools and speaking in front of getting to work with people, great people like Aiden, on one-on-one basis, trying to elevate them and help them break out their show. It was just a fast moving environment, and it was just amazing to see the things that came after that, how many people truly saw me, to be that motivator, to be that inspiration. So I saw my legacy growing right before me, and it was a lot to take in, but it was just a beautiful thing to see.
Right. So I wanted to start talking about that. How did that affect you? Because when we're going fast, 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 and all these things, these positive things are happening. But there's another part to that, right?
Right.
So how did that affect you mentally, spiritually, all those things?
When everything was moving so fast, imposter syndrome starts kicking in, especially when I never seen myself in this position.
Right.
Being heavy for so many years, being unhealthy, my mental health being such a huge factor in all of it. I never saw myself in that positive light. So it kind of said, wow, I need to slow down. I need to kind of reflect on all of this. So I did pull myself away from social media, and I just took a break. I took a breather, and I told myself, is this what I really wanted? Is this my true calling? But spiritually, and knowing my faith, and I'm not inflicting on this on anybody. I know everybody has their own beliefs. I'm
Right.
Catholic, and I do have strong faith in my God. Um, I say, God, is this what's meant for me? But everything and all the signs, all that anxiety that I felt is because I've been pulling myself away from my gift, and I had to accept that gift because it is belongs to me, and that's what God blessed me with. And so at that moment when I was feeling overwhelmed, when I didn't feel like I was good enough, I had to remind myself I'm here because Aiden's living proof that I'm doing God's work, that I'm living in my gift.
That's right.
He elevated, he stood consistent, he followed my program, and he's doing amazing now. And we're almost what, a year after I started working with him, he's
Yeah.
still consistently doing it. And I touch base with him. Our 1 hour conversations turn to 15 minutes because it's just he's just remaining consistent, and he's self-motivated, he's self-driven, and that's something I'm always going to be proud of. That I was able to instill something that I had into someone else.
That's right. Amazing. So I wanted to talk about that because one of the things that you were doing was coaching, right?
Yep.
Coaching the youth. And I reached out to you and said, hey, what do you think about working with my son? How about I introduce the two of you and see where it goes, right? But ultimately, it's going to be his decision. But I know the transition from high school to college, it can be difficult. He was unsure of where he wanted to go, what he wanted to do with his life. And I felt that having somebody around his age could help him with that, right? So, Aiden, I want to hear from you, right? So you
Yeah.
remember when I approached you about, hey, this is great guy that I heard.
Yeah, and it was out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. And I was like, I really want you to meet him and talk to them and see how it goes. So how was your first meeting with Gio?
First meeting was actually, it wasn't that bad because at first I was still like initially like I didn't know what to think at first because this
Mm-hmm.
was all very like new to me. Um, but the first meeting wasn't too bad. It got me thinking about how to like already just improve myself from what I was doing. We first started talking about actually school, um, my study habits, stuff like that, how to improve myself on that. Um, I've been following that for the past like year now, and I've been getting consistently better grades because of it. And I just feel good about going to class.
Right. That was huge because I saw the confidence that he was wavering with completely turn around.
I was so
Completely turn
hyped going
around.
to class; it was unreal. I was so hyped
Yeah.
in class.
Oh,
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Now, there was a couple of other things that Gio helped you with his coaching program, right?
Yeah,
What, what,
so stuff about weight loss as well. That was one of them. Um, Another thing was my my financial stuff as well. He actually he helped me get a big start on that, and he introduced me to my financial advisor, which is also his.
right.
And now I have been doing very well in regards with that as well.
beautiful.
My life has took a huge just upwards ever
Listen,
since I started doing.
yeah. And listen, Gio, you did such a great job that now he's after me about my financial goals.
Let's not talk about that.
Oh, the life of an entrepreneur.
I'm
uh,
telling you, amazing, amazing. So yeah, anybody out there who is looking for a life coach, because it's about life, it's not about school, it's not just about weight, it's not just about all of this. He truly encompasses everything related to your life, every single aspect. Gio touched on everything. So I 100% back up Gio and the things that he can do because we have living proof right here in the Morales household of how effective his coaching skills are.
And every day I'm just like I'm grateful for it. Like I don't say it out loud, but every day I am thankful that because of him, I have more confidence in myself and I feel like I'm ready to just take on the damn world.
There
And
you
it's
go.
actually
that's
also
awesome.
because of his book, first one that I
There
reignited.
it is.
There it is. That
I just love how I had it ready to pop up.
I just like I reignited my passion for the drums because I stopped playing that for years,
Right.
and it's because of him as well that I got back into it.
There you
Oh.
go. So Gio, talk to us about that first book.
Oh yeah, so my first book, Passion, Purpose, and the Pursuit of Happiness, was written because I care about detail, as Aiden knows. That's why I encompass a lot and everything about life when I take on my life coaching. But the three things that I think we focus on in life is our passion, our purpose, our why, and our happiness. And those three things, if they're not aligned, something's gonna fall. If you don't know what your passion is, you're not gonna understand your purpose. If you don't understand your purpose, you're not gonna understand your passion. And if you have neither of those, you're not gonna be happy. So focusing on those three things in my book, I help people process that. I help people reflect on those things in order. We start with passion. We go on to figuring out why we're passionate, and then figuring out the happiness piece. And I believe this book has inspired so many people. I'm very surprised by the feedback and the amount of people who not only bought this book for themselves, but also bought multiple copies for their family. And the feedback that I'm receiving is that it changed their life. It changed their direction. It changed the way they thought. They never had the chance to just sit there and reflect after reading a book. The average time that I'm hearing people are finishing in 2 days or the same day that they get it because they're so hooked on it. Um, and there's a lot of inspiration behind this book because, again, it's not only my first one, but what got me through all the health deficiencies and the hardships in my life is my passion and purpose, is my drive. But the one piece I could never figure out was my happiness. But it's because something was lacking. It's because
Mhm.
I didn't understand my why. I knew I was passionate, but I didn't know what my why was. But my
Mm.
why is to help professionals, young emerging professionals, get to where they want to be without feeling that they're not worthy. And that's why I can say at some level I am happy because hearing Aiden's story, I know there's progress, I know there's results. Which is why I tell people you should work with me in life coaching because I will take you where you're at, meet you where you're at, and get you where you want to be. You just gotta let me know, lead me in that direction, and I will encompass you. I will hug you virtually, unless we can meet in person, and we can make it happen. So yeah. So make sure you buy your copy. It's on
That's
Amazon.
right. It's still on Amazon, right?
It's
Now,
yes.
very exciting. Very exciting. You're hearing it right here. What's next?
So we got the we got the second one.
That's
Um,
right.
so this is the one I think people were expecting me to write
Yes,
first, but
that's
I
right.
saved it. It's Half the Man I Was: How I Lost 200 Pounds in a Year. People fell in love with the cover, which again I'm going to show it if I can get a good. It's when I
Yeah,
was bigger and when I was now in my current state. This book is getting an all in-depth look at how my life went during those 5 years, the trajectory, the downfalls, what it took for me to get to the point of running a marathon, which was this past last year in December, and now I'm running back-to-back marathons in April and May. Um, what it took for me to get to that point, but it's going to be a reflection of the first book, Passion, Purpose, and Pursuit of Happiness. So I recommend everyone, if you want to understand how the second book is written, I recommend reading, getting
first.
Passion, Purpose, and the Pursuit of Happiness. The pre-sale is going all the way to April 21st. It's flying off the virtual shelf. I think Aiden just confirmed his purchase and his mother's book.
Mm,
And I just really believe that this book is the one that people have been waiting for. How I Lost 200 Pounds in a Year. People don't understand because of how many of these that I eat every single day.
right.
This is I don't know how I'm not sponsored by these people already. It's been way too long. The
I mean,
amount
you
that I
had the
consume.
clothes. The clothes. You actually wore their Oreo clothing.
Oreo needs to step up. But anyway,
That's right.
um, but yes, everybody, this will be pre-sale all the way to April 21st and ready by Cinco de Mayo for release. So yeah, I will be a two-time published author, and yeah,
That's
so
right.
life is good. I can't complain.
Yeah, listen, very excited about that second book. I have to agree with you. I think everybody was expecting to hear more about that journey. Very smart of you to leave it for book number two. Right? Because you left us wanting more, right?
Exactly.
You gave us a hook. And I absolutely love that cover. Absolutely love that cover. So how now that you wrote it and you were reflecting back on those 5 years, how did it help you emotionally get through that? Because you had to revisit that. And I know just after writing my own book of things that happened so many years ago, but I still had things that I had to unpack, right? While
Right.
I was writing it. Did the same thing happen to you when you were writing?
Yeah, because I had to unpack trauma I didn't deal with. When you're going through this weight loss journey, you have a lot of people cheering you on. You have a lot of people complimenting you, especially with the momentum that I was gaining. You forget about that stuff. easily because it's negative emotions. You don't want to relive that. You're surrounded by positive people. You're surrounded by bright-minded people who are going so far in life.
Mm.
And when you start writing the second book about your trauma, things start unpacking. It starts getting heavier and it gets harder to write. It took me a while to write it, for me to accept a lot of what has happened, but I had to accept it. And I think that changed me now because now that I reflect on these things, I knew how much it has had an impact on my mental health and why it has caused such an impact in my life because I never addressed it. Because we already know
Right.
the stigma with Latin men, we don't open up. We
Right.
will take it to the grave if we had the option. But I feel with my generation, we have changed that, and we're slowly changing that stigma because we feel it's important to reach out and get help as soon as possible and not feel guilty about it and not feel like we're being less of a man or less of a person because of it. Um, so if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Now, tell me, can you name a tool or two that you use to get you through the unpacking?
Yeah. So not to be funny, Oreos was actually one of the tools that I
Some-
used.
And they still haven't sponsored this man. What is up with
n-
that?
Um, I know, but Oreos actually, it's something that has been carried through with me through my bigger days and my brighter days. It actually helps me relieve my anxiety. It's one of the sweets that I do enjoy, so it helps me kind of the self-care tool. That's my form of self-care every day, just having Oreos and being able to relax. And another tool that I use, is Spotify. I think Spotify is great because I calm down with sound, whether that's through my music or I just listen to a podcast or either meditation music. I know meditation has been a huge tool for me. Um,
awesome.
then I'm summoning my Paola moment. I know she's probably. I haven't talked to her in a while. Um, just getting to relax. Meditation is so important. Yoga is very good, getting to stretch the body, reframe your temple if that's what it means. I don't know, but I just know yoga does great for you.
Yeah. So quieting the mind
Mhm.
is one of your tools, and
Yeah,
sometimes quieting the mind means putting on some music to distract the constant thoughts that you have.
yeah,
Right. Yoga does the same thing, and it slows down your breath, and you're able to actually be in the moment, like a
right.
mindfulness meditation where you're able to do that. And I think the important thing is, I mean, you're talking about somebody who lost all this weight and how can you still eat Oreos and eat these things is because you learn to eat in moderation, right?
Hmm.
You can still have the things that you want to eat. And I remember you talking about pizza being one of your favorite foods, right? And still
Still
being
is
able to enjoy the Oreos and the pizza, but you're not going to eat a pie. You'll eat a slice or two, right?
right,
It's eating, learning, retraining yourself to do things in a healthier manner, but still
right.
enjoy the things that you love to do.
Yeah, because a lot of people, I think I posted a lot what I eat now, and people are still wondering how I'm still eating these things and still manage to keep off the weight. Now, I'm not gonna lie that I have gained weight, but I mean, I think I got to 169 at one point in my life. I was too light, and then I gained it all back with food, but I still managed to stay 180, 170. So, um, I'm
So you're
not
still good.
366, so I'm still
Yeah,
good.
366, that's a huge number. And we Latin people, we love our food, right?
Yes,
Because food is
exactly.
not just something to sustain our bodies. It is for us a social aspect attached to that, right?
Right.
We don't socialize unless there's coffee, crackers, something to go with that. We enjoy our food and we enjoy the socialization that comes with the food. I think
Exactly.
another important tool that that we're talking about here is the fact that you understand that you're not just going to wake up one day and say, I'm healed, I'm good, I'm not that guy that I was when I was 366 pounds. Even though the weight came off, you were still you. You still had you. You still had this constant
Right.
thoughts, right? But you
Right.
understand that every day is a struggle and that you will have to deal with it. And when it comes up, you have the tools to help you through it, which is
Exactly.
part of your coaching.
Exactly. It all comes together. I mean, it just I love doing this because not only am I coaching my clients, I'm also coaching myself. I learn a lot from Aiden.
There you go.
I learned a lot from the people that I've worked with. So it's a win-win situation all the way through. Because I am 24, and sometimes I do have older clients, and sometimes there is that challenge of how do I understand someone who is older than me, who has more responsibilities, who has a family, who has things that I necessarily might not have at this moment. How do I work with them? But it teaches me that this may be a situation that I have in the future, or there, or just a life lesson overall. So I think that's the beauty of my life coaching. I make it fun. I think me and Aiden laugh a lot during our
Yeah, we
session.
do. Oh
um,
my God.
but it's just wonderful, and I think my coaching program is really affordable. It's a lifetime fee, so you don't have to worry about paying this fee every single time. It's one time, and I work with you until you feel like you're completely ready to take off, and which is what I did with Aiden. And I do check in. It's not that I just leave
Yeah.
forever. I do check in. I say, hey, how you doing? Let's get on a call for 15 minutes just to check up. Um, and until you're fully comfortable saying, okay, Gio, I think I could take it. And then Aiden just killed it. So sign up
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah. Listen, who gets a life coach for life? Right?
Yeah.
I
You
thought
got a
that's the
life coach.
purpose of it.
Life coach for life, right? Sometimes it's when you get better, then you never hear from them again, but not with you. And you truly have shown that is the truth. So how can people get a hold of you?
That's a wonderful question. So you can get in contact with me on www.GoInspireOthers.com. All my information is listed there. If you want to call me, if you want to email me to set up a consultation, let's set it up. Let's get connected and let's chat. If you also want to connect with me, you can find me on Facebook, Gio Negron-Garcia on Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram, GioEffect_LLC. Um, it's the same thing for my TikTok. I am on TikTok now. And yeah, so if
Okay.
there's any way you can get in contact with me, you can also contact Marilyn to get my information as well. Um, but hey, I,
Excellent.
I want to work with you. I want to make this clear. I want to work with you. Let's make it
Yeah.
happen.
And tell my viewers also, what's your ideal client? I know you work with everybody, right? You have the ability to work
Right.
with everybody, and I can verify that because hey, he inspired me, a 54-year-old woman, right? I now am Titi Marilyn. I'm his aunt now.
Yeah.
I adopted him. I adopted him. So definitely, what does your ideal client look like?
My ideal client is someone who is coachable, that they're willing to be open to new ideas, but as well as they can accept that they will change. That change is difficult, but change will take time, and change is what we're going to achieve. But it's going to take time, and I'm going to be working with them for where they're at. And this is their journey. I'm going to hold them accountable. This is their choice. I am not going to be telling you how to live your life, how to do it. I never did this with Aiden. I made
Right.
recommendations to Aiden, and he took it and he did it his way. And there's things that I learned from him that I didn't do my way. So that's my ideal client. And in terms of, I know the age gap. I normally work from 18 all the way to 30 years old. Um, Sometimes they're older, but 18 to 30 is usually my ideal, just because I'm in the same age range and we're kind of going to do it together. But that's where I've been seeing most of my success. I've been seeing older success in my older clients, but that's primarily who I serve now.
Okay, awesome. Aiden, do you have, before I ask Gio my last question, do you have any questions or comments?
Not really. I'm not very good at asking questions.
Do you
So
recommend Geo?
absolutely.
Absolutely.
The
Okay.
website is down there. I think you can see it. It's down there.
There you go. Now, Geo, this is a question I ask all of my guests. How do you, Geo, define success?
Wow, that's a good question. I define success by progress. Whatever progress you make in a day, no matter how small, no matter how big, it's a win. It's one more step you took than yesterday. It's one more step towards your goal. And if you didn't make progress in a day, that's okay. You just got to be able to make the progress tomorrow. So I think success is as long as you're able to make progress.
right? There's a great saying. It's called progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
And with that, Gio, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm so happy that you're back and you're going to be back on social media. You got your second book. I'm very excited. Guys, reach out to Gio. You got a podcast, get him on your podcast. This is a wonderful young man that more people need to hear about. And with my viewers, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gabrielle Morales, and I am a recruitment coordinator for Be The Match. My journey with Be The Match actually began when I was only 9 years old. At that point, my 7-month-old baby sister was diagnosed with an extremely rare form of leukemia. Through the Be The Match registry, we were able to find a matching donor for my sister. And although a few months later, we lost her, her cancer was cured. Our family is so thankful for the additional months that we had with my sister. And ever since then, I've made a promise to myself to dedicate my life to helping children just like Isabella and helping families like ours by continuing her legacy. Hence why I now work for Be The Match. I love what I do so much, and I'm able to spread awareness about the huge need for more donors on the registry, especially those of diverse backgrounds. There is currently a huge disparity within the registry for minority patients, and we need your help. It is so simple to save a life and to be put on the registry. You can visit izzy'slegacy.com or text Izzy's Legacy to the number 61474 to start the registration process to be on the Be The Match registry, to hopefully be a life-saving match for a searching patient in need.